Hatin mawatahele, hatin mawatahele, hata.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about today. Do you know why? Because I get to tell you a little personal story. And I want everybody who's listening to know that each and every one of you have a story. You have a story. Do you know that when you come home from school and you had a really spectacular day, or maybe you had not such a spectacular day, and you share it with your mother? That's a story. Or a dream that you had the night before and you're telling your brother and sister about it? That's your story. Or when you find out that your grandpa was a captain on a ship, or maybe a Native American from the Hashima Nation, that's a story. So each and every one of you have a story. And I have a story about this moose. Moose wa. In Canada, by the Cree people, that's what they call the moose in their language. Moose wa. And that's how the name moose came. Now this is an Alaskan moose, and the moose that are up in Canada are a little smaller. But I have a really special thing to tell you about this area right here. We call this the moose nose. And my daughter-in-law's family, when something very special happens, they make moose nose soup. I haven't tasted it yet, but I can't wait to taste it because Morning Dove, which is my daughter-in-law, she says it's delicious. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something, boys and girls. When people tell you about their culture, don't go, ew, moose nose soup. No, take your finger right here. I want you to put it right here. And I want you to say, that's different. And that deserves respect and understanding. You see, every culture has different foods. And when you learn about it and you taste it, you might be a believer, because when I taste that moose nose soup one day, I bet I'm going to love it, because I love all kinds of different foods. Well, the story that we're about to hear is from the Wampanoag people, and it's called the Good Giant. Now, the giant was taller than this moose. So imagine this big, huge giant. And as you see the moose, imagine a giant even taller than this moose. Back when the earth was new, a giant named Mashu lived with the Wampanoag people. He loved them like that they were his own children, and he helped them in all sorts of ways. Mashu, the people would say, we are cold. And Mashu would carry dead trees from the forest to the village. Thank you, Mashu, the people would say, but these trees are so big. Can you cut them into firewood for us? So Mashu broke up the trees and made them into firewood. Oh, that is better, said the people, but it's too heavy to carry. Can you move it for us? So Mashu stacked up the firewood and put it next to the wigwam's door. Now, we have a fire, said the people. Oh, but there's nothing to cook. So Mashu the giant went to the sea, caught the fish, and he cut it up and gave the meat to the people. And so for a long time, the people just expected the giant to do everything. One day, Mashu came to the village, and all the people were just laying it round. What are you doing? Asked Mashu. Oh, we thought that walking was too hard. They said, could you carry us, please? Mashu realized that he had done too much for the people and that they had become lazy. My friends, he said sadly, I have done many, many things for you. Now I must teach you to rely on yourselves. The people begged the giant, please, Mashu, stay, don't leave us. But Mashu, he walked away, and he walked to the sea, and he became the great white whale. And he swam away, leaving the people to become strong enough so that they could care for themselves. You see, Mashuk knew that if you do too much for your children and don't teach them to do for themselves, they would become lazy. So he left them, went into the sea, and they learned how to take care of themselves. And I'm going to say ho, and you're going to say hey, because the story is over. Are you ready? Ho! Hey, good. Well, that's it for today. I hope that you've learned a little something in our story. And remember, you, yes, I'm talking to you have a story deep within you. Learn it and share it with the world. Ama!
Atachem tehalev, Atachem tehalev.